That was Puria Nei, written by the late Hirini Melbourne, and it means, Puria Nei means to clear space and to cleanse and renew. And we do that through the sun and through the winds. For those that have just joined me, my name is Sophronia Smith, and I am... You're listening to Mama E-Preneur Under Construction. I'm here every Wednesday 9 to 10 for the next 3 months, and I will be talking about e-commerce. I'm a student of the Kahau I Te Ao program, and I'll be sharing what I learn in the program. So on Sunday just passed, we officially started the Kahau I Te Ao program. The very first module of the program was mindset. And as I mentioned before, a mindset is a belief that orients the way that we handle situations. So, for example, 2 people can be given a task to do. One will head straight into it, and one will maybe stuff things up a little bit. The other one might think, I might get it wrong. I don't want to fail, so I'm not going to try. I'll try. I'll wait for the other person to see what they do, and if that's successful, then I might do it. But what determines that behaviour is our mindset. Our mindsets help us spot opportunity, but they can also trap us in self-defeating cycles. So once again, think of 2 people just as talented as each other, but one goes ahead and pursues developing their gifts and meets coaches and meets other people who excel in the area that they want to excel in. The other, however, is worried about perfection or criticism, not being good enough, and so hides and maybe stays at home and sits on their talent. And so we start to see how mindset affects us every day. But we also see how important mindset is. Our mindsets can be a barrier to learning, and I'm learning about being an online entrepreneur, and I want to be successful. But no matter what I learn, if my mindset has limiting beliefs and I haven't worked on rewriting and rewiring the subconscious programming, so I talked about the programming that we do on the computer, the downloading, but if I haven't worked on rewriting those limiting beliefs, no matter what I learn, I'm always going to have barriers, and I will never be able to reach my fullest potential. So there is a Dr. Carol Dweck, and Dr. Carol Dweck talked about 2 types of mindsets, and talked about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And a person that has a fixed mindset, they will potentially avoid challenges, and so they might say, I can't do things, I'm a failure, people are going to laugh at me if I try that. They might give up easily, I'm never good at, and that might be because they say, I'm not good at anything, I won't pass that test, or I won't get into that team, so I'm going to give up now. Yeah, I might as well end now. They see effort as fruitless, or it's not going to bring about anything good. And they might have the thinking, I don't know if I should try. I never win anything anyway. They will ignore useful negative feedback, and they might say things such as, I'm not going to listen to any feedback. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just being critical. And they might feel threatened by the success of others, and because if a person succeeds, it means that they feel like a failure. I'm not as good as that person. Or if another person succeeds, then there is pressure for them to just do as well. And so that is a fixed mindset. And then we have a growth mindset. And a person with a growth mindset, they will embrace opportunities. And they're given an opportunity and they will say, I'm just going to go for it. And I might make some mistakes, but I'm going to learn from those mistakes and I'm going to get better and better, but I'm going to be really good at this. They will persist in the face of setbacks. And I talked about Elon Musk at the start of this corridor, and he talked about setbacks and being sturdy and resilient. And the person that has that is persistence in the face of setbacks, they might say, yeah, I stuffed up a few times, quite a few times actually, but I'm getting better and better each time, and I'm not giving up, and I'm going to be good at this. But also, if we go back to what Elon Musk said, this means so much to me that I'm willing to give it a go. A person with a growth mindset, they will see effort as a path to mastery. So if we want to succeed, I need to put the work in. I need to have laser focus and I need to master this. They don't think, oh, that person just won just because they've got rich parents, they're just lucky. The person that you're, like, let's say you're competing against somebody and they won, perhaps what it is that they had training, they trained every day. They had incredible coaches that taught them incredible strategies. The thing is that you can as well. So effort is a path to mastery. And another thing for a person with a growth mindset is that they learn from criticism. And it's about saying, I can learn from this criticism. I'm work in progress. The criticism isn't about me personally as a person. It's about what I'm doing. And I want to learn everything that I can do to be the best at that thing that I'm doing. And so I'm going to take that criticism or that feedback on board. And the last thing is that they will find lessons and inspiration in the success of others and look at them and think, what are they doing? What can I learn from them, and what am I going to apply in my own life? And as I looked at and as I thought about those two mindsets, so fixed and a growth mindset, I started to ask myself where I sit. Do I have a growth or do I have a fixed? And I also started to ask myself what beliefs might be my obstacles that cause me to respond in a certain way, and what beliefs need to be rewired. And this brings me to my next point, which is reframing. So reframing the past is an easy way to change the future. And reframing is about developing a new way of looking at a situation or an experience and putting it into another frame. So, for example, if a relationship fails, and that happens, that's life. Relationships sometimes fail and sometimes they succeed. And it can make a person feel like they are a failure. And a way that it can be reframed is that that a person can think, well, the relationship didn't work, but I really learnt what I want in a partner. And the person that I was with helped me to learn that. So it's about reframing. Right now, I want to ask you a set of questions. You think about them. Think about them right now or during the day, and be aware of how you respond. So the first question is, how do you respond to constructive criticism? So have a think about that. What I've learnt personally is that constructive criticism isn't about me as a person. It's not saying you're a bad person, Sophronia. It is about the thing that I'm doing. The thing that I'm doing, it needs a bit of work, a bit of tweaking. But as you tweak, you're going to be excellent. The second question that I have is, do you avoid responsibility for your problems or your failures by making excuses or blaming others? And as I thought about times when I've done this, and for me it was about saving face. It was about me saving face and not wanting to say, I didn't know what to do. And some people, they want to blame others because they don't want to come across as weak or incompetent, and they honestly don't think that what they've done is their fault. And so it's really important that we look at the where we sit. What this doctor talked about is that sometimes we can sit in both spaces, so we can maybe start in the fixed and move to a growth, or for some of those things that I talked about, we might have a large number of growth mindset attitudes, or we might have one or two fixed ones. And as I thought about it myself, I identified that a number of I do sit in the growth attitude, but if I was to ask myself where I sat maybe 10 years ago, that would have been different. So I think it's come through my own personal growth, me working on myself, me trusting in myself, and me knowing that I'm at a stage in my life where I'm going for things. If I want to do something, I'm going to be good at it, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to just go for it. What I also realized too is, because I'm conscious of my mindset and the thoughts that, that can come in and out, I might actually start in the fixed mindset and then challenge myself and then shift to the growth mindset. And so that's the importance of actually being really, really aware of your mindset, of your attitudes, of your beliefs, of those things that actually can hold you back. And on that note, we're talking about being a winner. I'm going to play another waiata, and it's a waiata called Winner, and it's by Ria and featuring Spawn New Zealand.
Now, Ria, I feel you on this one.
You keep winning all the way.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright.
I can see it in their eyes, they try to hurt you. In the shade, they talk away and criticize too. Entertain you with a lie that don't concern you. Just keep moving along, 'cause doesn't matter what they say, even if they're gonna hate. Let the haters do their thing. Keep winning all the way. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright.
the shame on you, shame on you.
I see them faking, you don't need them anyway. But why they hating? Cause they're only in the way. They try to
Gee, I excellently stopped myself from that track halfway through, so sorry about that. Sorry, Rhea and Spawn Breezy, for doing that.
Now, Rhea, you know I feel you on this one.
you keep winning all the way.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm doing things right. I'm still learning, and yeah, I think I got things right now. Okay, so just want to apologize that I accidentally cut that song in half, but the reason why I chose that song is that it's got some really powerful words, and it talks about being a winner, and it kind of aligned with today's discussion, which is about mindset. And for those that have just come in, my name is Sophronia Smith, and you're listening to Mama E-Preneur Under Construction. I'm here every Wednesday, 9 to 10 for the next 3 months, and I'll be teaching or sharing about e-commerce. And today's kōrero is about mindset. Just another reminder that you can download the Arrow FM podcast app and listen to the program on your device at your own leisure. Today's kōrero, as I said, is about mindset, and I've just talked about a fixed and growth mindset. A fixed mindset can be an obstacle to learning, and reframing is a way how we can create a different future. The next thing we're going to start talking about is programming in the brain. And so programming takes place in the first 7 years of our lives, the formative years of our life. The programming occurs from language we hear. So we might hear things such as, we never get ahead, we are winners, or we always fail. Program occurs from the behaviours we see. So, for example, you might see the avoidance of confrontation. So then what is being programmed is that confrontation is bad. Another way programming takes place is from the environment that we're raised in. So think of the home that you were raised in. Was it an environment where you were praised for anything you did, or were you criticized for everything that you did? These all impact and inform and shape programming. The beliefs that influence and determine the decisions we make are informed by those first 7 years. And 95% of our behavior comes from the subconscious. So programming actually takes place at a subconscious level, which is just below the conscious level. So if you think about your behaviours and the decisions that you make and your beliefs, they've been informed by the very first 7 years of your life. And there's a really interesting theory, and this theory goes to the extent that poor people are taught the beliefs from their family. And so if we think of programming that takes place from years 1 to 7, but it actually takes place when you're in the puku. So for mama, we know that we carry our babies in the whare tangata, or and programming starts then, because our pepe, even though they're growing, they can hear and they can sense everything. So actually learning begins then. But poor people are taught by the beliefs from their family, and they're taught those things because they might hear the things or hear this kōrero: you can't make it, life's a struggle, things are hard. And those beliefs are downloaded into the subconscious, just below the conscious. And so what happens, according to this theory, If what has been downloaded into your subconscious is all of those beliefs, I can't make it, life's a struggle, when opportunities arise for you to actually make it, so it might be an opportunity to create a business or to take on a new role that is going to create 6 figures or more. The theory is that you will self-sabotage, meaning not take the opportunity because what you've told yourself and what you've been programmed to think is that I'm always going to struggle, so what's the use? And the theory is that is why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich. And you will see from the statistics that generally poverty is a intergenerational thing. And then wealth is also an intergenerational thing. So that's just something for you to think about. But the things that you like, so we're going to the next step. So we're talking about programming, and then for yourself, the things that you like, they come into your life, or because what has been downloaded and programmed in that first 7 years supports those things. But on the flip side, you can look at where you are struggling. So let's say that you're wanting more money, but so far you've got to maybe, let's say that you're making $30,000 and you want to go to $50,000 or even $70,000, and you can start reprogramming that subconscious and reprogramming it so that it supports that. Okay, so the things that you want can occur if they're not part of the programming that has already taken place, but that does take reprogramming. And that's because the subconscious, which is just below the conscious level, can learn new things. And I'm going to talk about 2 ways that you can do this. And I'm going to talk about 2 very simple things, and there's layers to this. And if you want to know more, you can either go to YouTube, go down to the library, or look at getting an ebook about hypnosis and repetition. So I want to share an experience, a personal experience, because what I'm sharing with you, it actually works. And I know it works because I've applied it in my own life many, many times. About a year and a half ago, I decided that I was going to buy a house. I'm a single parent, and we have a housing crisis, and right now the cost or the price of houses is inflated, and it's incredible. But I started to create affirmations on my cell phone, and I got this Loop program, this Loop app, and what it would do is that it would play it over and over and over again. And I would play this, and I wrote affirmations, and I put them around the house, and I carried this card, and on my affirmations, it said something very, very simple. I am so thankful and grateful now. I have bought a home in Masterton that is within my budget. And as time went by, I started to clarify that even more, started to say how many bedrooms I wanted and all of those things. And I would listen to that, and I put it down so that I couldn't actually hear. And one of the things that I've been taught by one of my teachers is that way it is actually going into the subconscious level. It's not going into the conscious level because I can hear it, the subconscious level. about 1.5 years later, this is me going to looking at hundreds of homes, going to at least 4 to 5 open homes nearly every week, going online and having to, work through the cordial from agents. They'll say, "Oh, with your budget, you will only be able to buy a flat." And I didn't let what they were saying define my dream. And I eventually did buy a house. And some people say, "How did you do it?" And for me, a lot of it was about reprogramming, and it was about repetition, and it was about that some people call it hypnosis, or feeding and rewiring the programming at the subconscious level. So what I'm actually talking about, I know that it actually works, but it actually takes time, and we don't always see the results straight away. And I remember when I first started trialing this and just little things, and I thought, "Oh, gee, it's not working. Nothing's happening." And then I would listen to different speakers, Dr. Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, and others, and they would say that sometimes it takes time, but be persistent. So right now, I've shared a corridor about me, or a story from my own experience. Now we're going to talk about you. And what I want to do, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Once again, these are questions that I want you to be asking yourself. What are the beliefs that you have that are sabotaging your progress to be either a world #1 bodybuilder, or a entrepreneur, or a world #1 selling author? There are, whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are, what beliefs are there that are sabotaging your progress to achieve that? And some of them, and some of the most common self-sabotaging beliefs are that you're not good enough, I'm scared, I'm not intelligent enough, what if I fail, I never succeed. So those could be some of the programming that we have. So you think about that and start to identify what some of those things are. If we look at money, and let's say that you have a goal to make $2,000 a week. Excuse me. Let's say that you have a goal and you want to make $2,000 a week, or $200 a week, and you could ask the same question: what is one money belief that is holding you back? And it might be, once again, I'm not intelligent enough to create that, an extra $200. I'm not good enough. I don't know what to do. But there's a number of beliefs. So ask yourself those things. Another thing that, in terms of money beliefs, some of the things that people might say to them is, I'm not good enough to be rich. My family was poor, and so I will be too. It is just the way that it is. I don't deserve to be rich. I don't deserve to make that amount of money. So you really have to start sitting with yourself and be aware, write those things down, but also know that those things that you can reprogram. Okay. The next thing that I want you to start thinking about is, what action or step are you willing to take right now to demonstrate that you are ready to achieve your goal, whatever that goal is, whether it's new levels of wealth, a new career, to win a writing competition. Let's say you're a writer or an artist, and but what action or step are you willing to take right now to demonstrate that you are ready for new levels? And it might be that you start with writing an affirmation, putting it on your phone and playing it each night, like I did, and I gave the example from myself. Or it might be even just writing the affirmation. It might even be about identifying what that goal is. You might actually not even have a goal. Wherever you're at, just start there. And just remember that those beliefs that tell you that you can't do things, or you'll never achieve your goals, that those can be reprogrammed, and that you can and you will achieve the things that you want to once you start challenging and taking action such as affirmations, but once you start working on yourself. Okay, we're going to play one more waiata, and then we're going to finish our show. And this is a waiata written by Maimoa, and they are incredible. And the reason why I chose this song, it talks about a whakatauki, a proverb, and ka whati te hau ka pau te tōria. When the tide breaks, the oyster catcher strikes. And this talks about taking the opportunities. From my kōrero, I want you to take an opportunity to start doing things. If you have a dream to be something, and you know that you have limiting beliefs, I want you to take action, whether it is that you've decided that you're going to start changing, reprogramming, and you're going to start that by going online and reading and starting to learn about how you can do those things. So the song that I'm going to play, my very last song for the day, it is called Tōria by Maimoa. Kia ora whānau, it's your girl Sophronia. I just want to acknowledge mai moa, and that's a beautiful song. Once again, I'll just reiterate what it talks about, the tōria, the oyster catcher. Ka whati te hau, ka pau te tōria. It means when the tide breaks, the oyster catcher strikes. And we could say that in another way, seize the moment. For those that have just started listening, my name is Sophronia. This is Mama E-Preneur Under Construction. I'm here every Wednesday, 9 to 10 for the next 3 months. I'm a student of the Kahau I Te Ao e-commerce program, and I'll be sharing what I'm learning on my program. Today we have talked about mindset, and we've talked about different types of mindset, specifically fixed and growth mindset. We've talked about reframing the past, and reframing the past is how we get to a different future. We've also talked about programming that takes place in the first 7 years of life, and the things that we like are brought into our lives because it's part of our program. The things that we struggle with are not supported by our programming, and ways that we can reprogram is through things such as hypnosis and repetition. Okay, reprogramming our beliefs. And I'm going to, this is the very last part of today's show, but I'm going to be sharing a really important resource that you can take a look at. Reprogramming our beliefs. As I talked about, the first 7 years of our life is when the programming is downloaded into that subconscious level. Our attitudes, beliefs and behaviours are based on that time, and 95% of our behaviour is based on that programming. And so there's a Dr. Lipton, and he talks about ways that we can change the programming, and generally, it takes approximately 66 days of repetition to create a new habit, to change your belief, to change your mind. And so Dr. Lipton, he talks about different ways that you can do sleeping, meditation, and hypnosis. Dr. Bruce Lipton also has programs, and if you are interested in the different modalities, I'm going to call them modalities, or different approaches to reprogramming, write this down. This is the website, www.bruce, B-R-U-C-E, Lipton, Lipton.com, www.brucelipton.com. And he has a huge number of different modalities, and it's for parenting, it's about creating change in your mind. Some of those things include NLP, and many of us will know NLP, but there are some, I went through it last night, and there are some incredible resources there. So if you are serious about reprogramming, know that you can, especially if those very first 7 years of your life weren't good ones. And for some of us that has happened, they weren't good times. But know that you can reprogram so that you can achieve the things and desires of your heart. So I'm going to finish by, I think we'll finish by going over some of the things, or I'm going to ask you a number of questions. And I want you to start thinking about them, writing them down in your journal, and you might have to, might need time to actually think about them. But the first question is, what is one thing that you want in your life? It might be, I want to have a house. I want to have my own car. I want to be debt-free. I want to graduate with a master's program. Whatever it is, what is one thing that you have in your life? The second thing that I want to ask you is, what conflicting beliefs do you have? So, for example, you might want to write a book, but you might have a conflicting belief that says, but I'm not clever enough. Or you might have one thing that you want in your life is that you want to make lots of money, but you might have a conflicting belief that says, but I'm not good enough. Whatever it is that you want, whether it's making lots of money, writing a book, buying a house, writing a song, you can do it. And this becomes part of reprogramming so that you can achieve the desires of your heart. That's all for today. Thank you for spending time with me. Just remember, I'm here every Wednesday, 9 to 10, Arrow FM 92.7. We're also on YouTube. If you want to listen to us on podcasts, just download the Arrow FM podcast on your device, and you can listen to this program and many other programs that are offered through Arrow FM. I want to acknowledge them for all the incredible work that they do in our community, and thank kia koe Michael, tēnei te mihi, tēnei te mihi. Have a great day. It's a wonderful, beautiful day here in the Wairarapa, wherever you are. Just remember, if you believe you can, if you believe you can't, you're right.